What's happening, guys? MG here, MGCovers, bringing you a brand new sports betting free play. We're going to look at college basketball today, December the 19th. Have a lot of stuff to go through, a big announcement for you guys for a big sale. And then, of course, we're going to give you a free play a little bit later in the day. As always, we always look at the record, full transparency here at MGCovers.com. Football. We are 26-23, good season, up 8.53 units. NBA 46-35, up 4.5 units. We've been playing a lot of half units in NBA. If you were playing straight full units, you would be sitting close to almost 8 units. Soccer 36-39. We hit a huge dog over the weekend. Had a loss yesterday. Still up 1.7 units. NHL down 7.5 units. Those of you who followed me before, NHL's been definitely a grind struggle this year. Still think we can get back to having a really good season there. Just had some really tough luck here lately. Of course, NCAA football, pretty much done there, down 3.7 units. You see where it's got its crossed out, $199 for 6 months. We've got a huge, huge sale. We're going to go through that on the next slide. But if you haven't followed me on all the social media, you can do that by subscribing or follow me at MGCovers. It's MGCovers spelled with a Z. That's the same on Instagram, same on Twitter. Okay, let's look at some of our subscriptions for a couple of our packages. First, we'll go to the coaching program. We've had so much success. A lot of clients absolutely love the coaching program. I'm going to tell you what that is. It's $29.95 a month. You get power rankings for all sports. Now, what power rankings are, I call them power rankings, but in essence, it's our lines for all the sports. So, in essence, for NFL, for soccer, for NHL, for NCAA basketball, for NBA, you get to see our lines, which are going to be better than the sportsbook's lines for all the sports. And why are they better? Well, it's very simple. Is the sportsbooks, when they set a line, they have to take into account public's perception of that team. What I mean by that, if the Lakers are playing, they know they're going to get a lot of action on Lakers. That line becomes inflated. My model only uses stats. Listen to stats from the last 5 games. So it's statistically based, and it's a lot more accurate than the sportsbook line because of that. And you can find a ton of value. Now back to our little screen here on the left. You also get access to all of our handicapping videos for all the sports. It's under our coaching program. So when you look at the power rankings and the lines, you also get videos on, hey, this is how you handicap. This is how you handicap statistically. This is how you handicap situationally. Got to have both in order to be a good handicapper. And you'll be able to access that in our coaching video section. And we always upload one video each week. And you get unlimited email support from yours truly. If you got a question like, hey, I'm thinking about playing this game. What do you think? Blah, 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 blah. You can always send me a DM or an email. Now, I know it's the holidays coming up, so we're going to go back to our 90-day sale. You can get all picks, all sports, and all power rankings for $100. That's for 90 days. There's going to be a link in the description box to take advantage of that. We're going to run that through the rest of the year. Realize everybody's got, not necessarily money issues, but definitely priorities focused around Christmas. So it's $100 for 90 days. Now, that's the premium membership, which means you get access to all of my plays. You get access to all of the power rankings. You get access to all the coaching videos, all that for $100 for 90 days. So very good sale there. And, of course, we'll run that through the end of the year. Now, these are some client testimonials, and we've had so much fun. It's fun to see clients succeed. These are, I think, two of these are coaching clients, and one of them is has access to everything on the site. If you look up here on the left, nice. It was either Chicago money line or no play at all. That was me responding, and he says took it because of these rankings. Charlotte is so underrated. Looks like that was a win there. The middle client testimonial. What did you play the Bulls at? This was last night, I believe. He had the Bulls at plus 105. He went 3-0 on the day. That's a nice call. Man, he says, thanks. The rankings stay winning. Over here on the right, this is another one. Nice. Grab the extra point. I tell you, these power rankings are the truth. This is a few days ago, maybe last week. This is me commenting here. Felt like I should have played Sacramento as well. And he says, your power rankings, this was last night, your power rankings are unmatched in NBA, man. Holy moly. So there's a lot of success. Clients are having a lot of success with the NBA power rankings. And once you become a member, obviously you'll have access to those as well. Okay, moving along. Let's look at our free play for today. We're going to dive into NCAA basketball. And the beauty of NCAA basketball is you have so many games to pick from. And I talked about this last night on the gram, is that you can really cherry pick these games, which means you could set your criteria and just pick really good games. You don't have to play a lot of games. And the bad news for the sports book is they have to lay a line on every single game. Okay, so let's look up here at the top. William Mary and St. Joe's is a game we're going to look at. First off, if you look, our line is minus 15. William & Mary, St. Joe's is 15. The actual line is William & Mary minus 1.5. So obviously we have a huge value, huge spread there. In NBA, you'll generally, a 5-point differential would indicate value. College basketball, you'll have some huge numbers. So you really can't, it doesn't mean it's an automatic play. It's just because of the variance in scoring, and teams play different teams in different leagues. So you'll have a bigger margin sometimes. All right, so what I have on the left, so we have value with William & Mary. All right, so if you look on the left, these are the last 10 games William & Mary has played. And I talked about this in a previous video. We'll go through this now. So William & Mary, I'm going to look on the left how many times that they've covered the 1.5. The first game there, 90-30, they covered that. Covered all the way down. They even covered the 62-58 win there. They did lose to Buffalo, lost to Stanford, lost to Oklahoma. But if you look at that loss to Oklahoma, only lost by 5. Okay, and of course beat Wofford there. So the 1.5 would have not covered. So if you take the 3 losses, and of course the Wofford game, they did not cover when you subtract 1.5. Let's see if I can get this to right. Whoops, is this going to click right here? Hang on a second. I'm trying to get something to pull up here. Whoops, my bad. Well, I guess I didn't put it on here. Anyway, so that's 60% of the time William & Mary has covered when you subtract 1.5 points from the games. And this is a more accurate way to cover against the spread. So the 3 losses and the game against Wofford, if you take those games and subtract 1.5 from their score, they did not cover. So 60% of the time they do cover when you minus 1.5. Now, let's look at St. Joe's. So it's the same deal. So what we're going to do with St. Joe's is we're going to add 1.5. And you say, why would you add 1.5? Because that's the line. They're getting plus 1.5. So you look at these losses there, the first game, second game, third game, fourth game, fifth game, sixth game, seventh game. So they lost all the losses. Even if you add 1.5, it still does not cover. The only exception is the November the 13th game there at the bottom. They won 96-87. So that's only one time that they covered when they're given 1.5 points. So 90% of the time when given 1.5 points in the last 10 games, St. Joe's does not cover. And if you guys remember in school when you did these math problems and you made it into a sentence, so here's what we would do. We would say William & Mary, when you subtract 1.5 points, has covered 60% of the time in the last 10 games. In St. Joe's, when you give them 1.5 points, they have only covered 10% of the time. So that's what we want to see when we're handicapping a game. It's just, and this isn't the only thing we use, but it's one way to check against the spread numbers. I'll give you another example. If you're playing a team, say minus 10, they're the favorite minus 10. You better damn sure make sure that they've covered that 10 in a majority of their games, because if they're winning their games by 2, 3, 4, and 5, it's going to be difficult for them to cover the 10. And of course, we're going to check the other team as well. But this is a really kind of a secret. I don't know if it's a secret, but it's a strategy I use. It's very effective. And you could do this for any spread sport. I do this in NBA as well. Okay, the last thing we're going to look at, these are stats from the last 5 games, which the model that I use is actually built on this. If you look at St. Joe's, and we're focusing on defense, and you say, why defense? Well, if you can't stop most teams, this really is very applicable in NBA because everybody in the NBA is good what separates a good team from a bad team is their ability to stop their opponent. Give you an example. Hawks the other night scored 120 points. They lost. They gave up 143. Why are the Lakers so good this year? Why are Milwaukee Bucks so good this year? They play defense. If you can hold your opponent under 100 points in an NBA game, good chance you're going to win, and that's what they do. And the same applies to college basketball as well. So you look at St. Joe's defense, they're giving up 87 points in their last 5 games. They're giving up, look at that, 52% field goal percentage. So there's a, whether it's, giving up a lot of perimeter shots or giving up a lot of baskets in transition, that's not good. And 3-point percentage, look at that, they're giving up 43%, which basically tells you they're not good at perimeter defense. Let's slide over here to William & Mary. William & Mary giving up 61 points a game. Field goal percentage, 40%. That's not bad. 27% on field goals. So when you start to take these stats and apply it to the game, we can make the assumption that it's going to be difficult for St. Joe's to score, and they're giving up a lot of points as well. So that definitely favors William & Mary. And factoring all this in, our free play obviously is going to be William and Mary. I put Williams and Mary. Should be William & Mary -1.5. So that's our free play for today. And as always, if you like this video, give it a like. We have finally hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. Hey, I greatly appreciate it. Don't take anything for granted. Those of you that comment on the videos daily, subscribe to the channel, greatly appreciate it. If there's a video or something you want me to talk about, you can post that in the comment section. Again, if you want to take advantage of the specials, the links are in the description box. And as always, website mgcovers.com. Hope everybody has a great week. Talk to you soon. Peace.